The Middle East has long been surrounded by an aura of mystery when it comes to extreme wealth, a region where futuristic skylines rise from vast deserts, luxury cars line the streets, and lifestyles often seem almost unreal to the outside world, especially in cities like Dubai, Doha, and Riyadh. But what many people fail to understand is that this level of wealth is not simply the result of luck or sudden discovery. It is the outcome of decades of calculated decisions, strategic planning, and an economic model that has been carefully engineered to sustain power and prosperity over generations.
Subscribe Luxon for luxury travel guides and dream destinations.
And while the most obvious foundation of this wealth is oil, often referred to as black gold, which transformed nations like Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Qatar from relatively modest economies into global financial powerhouses, the true secret goes far deeper than natural resources. Because history has shown that many countries rich in resources have failed to achieve long-term prosperity. And what sets the Middle East apart is how that initial wealth was managed, invested, and expanded beyond its original source, as governments and ruling families made a conscious decision not to rely solely on oil, but to diversify their economies in ways that would secure their future long after oil demand begins to decline, investing billions into infrastructure, global business, tourism, aviation, and technology, turning cities like Dubai into international hubs where East meets West, where businesses operate across continents, and where opportunities attract talent and capital from around the world. And one of the most powerful yet often overlooked mechanisms behind this wealth is the rise of sovereign wealth funds, massive state-controlled investment vehicles, such as the Public Investment Fund, the Qatar Investment Authority, and the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, which collectively manage trillions of dollars by investing in global companies, real estate, infrastructure, and emerging technologies, allowing these nations to generate consistent income streams from assets all over the world, effectively turning oil wealth into diversified global influence. And this strategy has enabled Middle Eastern economies to remain strong even during periods of oil price fluctuations, proving that the real power lies not in the resource itself, but in how it is utilized. And beyond financial strategy, geography also plays a crucial role, as the Middle East sits at the intersection of Europe, Asia, and Africa, making it one of the most strategically important regions for global trade and travel, a position that has been leveraged through world-class airlines like Emirates, Qatar Airways, and Etihad Airways, which have transformed cities into global transit hubs, connecting millions of passengers every year, generating billions in revenue, while strengthening the region's economic and cultural influence. And then there is the real estate boom, with iconic developments such as the Burj Khalifa and Palm Jumeirah, symbolizing not just luxury, but ambition, showcasing the region's ability to execute massive projects that capture global attention and attract investment, tourism, and prestige. But perhaps one of the most important and least discussed aspects of Middle Eastern wealth is the cultural mindset that underpins it, where long-term thinking, legacy building, and centralized decision-making allow for strategies that extend decades into the future, unlike many Western economies that are often driven by short-term results and political cycles. And in many Middle Eastern nations, ruling families maintain significant control over economic direction, enabling them to implement bold, large-scale initiatives without the delays or uncertainties that can come from constantly changing leadership. And this has led to the development of visionary projects like Neom, a futuristic city being built in Saudi Arabia that aims to redefine urban living through advanced technology, sustainability, and innovation, representing a shift toward a post-oil economy that prioritizes knowledge, creativity, and global collaboration. And while the luxury lifestyle often shown on social media, private jets, gold-plated interiors, luxury shopping malls captures attention, it is only the surface layer of a much deeper system, because the real secret of extreme wealth in the Middle East lies in the combination of resource advantage, strategic reinvestment, global diversification, geographic positioning, and a governance model that prioritizes long-term stability and growth. And at the same time, the region is actively preparing for the future by investing heavily in sectors such as artificial intelligence, renewable energy, fintech, and tourism, ensuring that its economies remain competitive in a rapidly changing world where oil may no longer dominate as it once did. And this transition is already visible in the rise of tech hubs, innovation centers, and international events that position Middle Eastern cities as forward-thinking global leaders rather than resource-dependent economies. And of course, this journey has not been without challenges, including economic inequality, geopolitical tensions, and the pressure to balance tradition with modernization. But despite these complexities, the region continues to evolve, adapt, and expand its influence on the global stage, demonstrating a level of resilience and strategic vision that few regions can match. And if you go even deeper, you begin to notice another powerful layer behind this wealth: control over key global assets and partnerships, because many Middle Eastern investment funds hold significant stakes in major international companies, real estate in global cities like London and New York, and even sports franchises and entertainment industries, allowing them to influence markets far beyond their own borders, quietly embedding themselves into the global economy in ways that most people never realize. And this creates a system where wealth is not just generated locally, but multiplied globally, reinforcing their financial strength regardless of regional challenges. And alongside this, there is also a strong emphasis on branding and perception, where cities like Dubai have positioned themselves as symbols of luxury, safety, and opportunity, turning perception into profit and reputation into revenue. And another often overlooked factor is taxation policy, as many Middle Eastern countries offer low or zero income tax environments, making them highly attractive for wealthy individuals and businesses looking to maximize their earnings, which further fuels economic growth and increases capital inflow to the region. And when you combine all of these elements, natural resources, strategic investments, global positioning, governance structure, cultural mindset, and future-focused innovation, you begin to see that the extreme wealth of the Middle East is not a mystery at all, but a carefully constructed system designed to sustain power, influence, and prosperity over the long term. And at the same time, the region is actively preparing for the future by investing heavily in sectors such as artificial intelligence, renewable energy, fintech, and tourism, ensuring that its economies remain competitive in a rapidly changing world where oil may no longer dominate as it once did. And this transition is already visible in the rise of tech hubs, innovation centers, and international events that position Middle Eastern cities as forward-thinking global leaders rather than resource-dependent economies. And of course, this journey has not been without challenges, including economic inequality, geopolitical tensions, and the pressure to balance tradition with modernization. But despite these complexities, the region continues to evolve, adapt, and expand its influence on the global stage,